A Course in Miracles. Lesson 90. For this review, we will use these ideas. 79. Let me recognize the problem so it can be solved. Let me realize today that the problem is always some form of grievance that I would cherish. Let me also understand that the solution is always a miracle with which I let the grievance be replaced. Today I would remember the simplicity of salvation by reinforcing the lesson that there is one problem and one solution. The problem is a grievance, the solution is a miracle. And I invite the solution to come to me through my forgiveness of the grievance and my welcome of the miracle that takes its place. Specific applications of this idea might be in these forms. This presents a problem to me which I would have resolved. The miracle behind this grievance will resolve it for me. The answer to this problem is the miracle that it conceals. Let me recognize my problems have been solved. I seem to have problems only because I am misusing time. I believe that the problem comes first and time must elapse before it can be worked out. I do not see the problem and the answer as simultaneous in their occurrence. That is because I do not yet realize that God has placed the answer together with the problem so that they cannot be separated by time. The Holy Spirit will teach me this if I will let Him. And I will understand it is impossible that I could have a problem which has not been solved already. These forms of the idea will be useful for specific applications. I need not wait for this to be resolved. The answer to this problem is already given me if I will accept it. Time cannot separate this problem from its solution. The case was closed before it began. There was a courtroom that never slept, not because justice was still being decided, but because no one realized the verdict had already been written. A man walked in, holding a thick file against his chest. He called it "My Problem." He had been carrying it for years, adding pages, highlighting offenses, bookmarking every grievance like sacred evidence. He approached the judge and said, "I need time to resolve this." The judge did not respond, because the case had already been closed. You see, in this courtroom, something unusual had happened long before the man arrived. The moment the problem appeared, the answer appeared with it. Not later, not after time passed, not after effort, suffering, or analysis. At the exact same instant. But the man could not see it, because he was looking at the file, not the verdict. He believed the file was still open, still active, still needing resolution. And so, he kept adding to it. More grievances, more witnesses, more proof that something had gone wrong. Time became his accomplice. He used it to stretch the illusion. If I wait long enough, if I process this, if I revisit this memory one more time, then maybe, just maybe, the problem will finally be solved. But here is the quiet truth that echoed through that courtroom. There was never a moment, not one, where the problem existed without its solution. The only thing time was doing was hiding the answer behind the belief that it hadn't arrived yet. Then one day, something shifted. The man stopped arguing for the file. He stopped trying to prove the grievance mattered. He stopped rehearsing the injury, stopped defending the story, stopped asking time to fix what was never broken. And in that instant, without effort, without delay, without any process at all, the verdict revealed itself. Resolved. Not because the problem was worked through, but because it was never separate from the answer. The miracle had been sitting there the entire time, not hidden by complexity, but by attachment. The grievance was the only thing keeping the case alive, and the moment it was released, the illusion of time collapsed with it. So what is the problem? A grievance being held, cherished, protected. And what is the solution? A miracle, already present, waiting only to be accepted. Time says, "Not yet." The miracle says, "Already done." And today, the choice is not whether the problem will be solved, but whether the grievance will be kept, because the case was closed before it began.